I just built this system that creates any video with consistent character on autopilot. And the best part is I was doing it all using AI and no code, so even a beginner can do it. If you follow this tutorial, you will be able to create videos with consistent character like the following.
We can finally create videos with consistent character on autopilot.
Never forget, you're just one prompt away from a million. I got all this from one simple prompt.
This is VEO3 consistent characters on autopilot. And in this no-code tutorial, I'll show you how to build it step by step, powered by a simple Google Sheet.
You just describe the scene, write the exact line, and pick your character from a drop-down. It's that simple once you know how.
It's like having a film studio in your browser. One prompt, one drop-down, and suddenly you've got a cinematic universe running itself.
This is the power of high-leverage creativity. If you're not learning AI right now, you're leaving opportunity and money on the table. It's really simple. Even if you've got zero experience, it's just drag and drop. Watch the full tutorial and you'll be creating videos like this in no time.
And it's really simple. It's all inside the browser. It's all drag and drop. Everything without code. We're using tools like Google Sheets or Google Drive that we all know and love, and pair it with AI tools like Google's VEO3 to have stunning outputs like in this example. And in case you don't know me yet, I'm Ed, the founder and CEO of Zellos Internet. We scaled our own business in over 20 million in revenue using AI automation. Now we help others to do the same through Hill Fusion, our AI automation agency. And AI Space, our education platform for beginners and business owners. In our classroom, we have everything to get you started with AI and AI automation. We take you from an absolute beginner to a pro. We also provide here multiple premium templates like the auto-publishing template that enables you to post to all social media platforms, or the clipping automation that enables you to create long-form videos into shorts, and many more. So in case you're not part of the community yet, I highly recommend you to join. You will be able to get started much quicker and get help from AI experts. But that's not all. I also provide the whole blueprint that you can simply download and import in our no-code tool. So you don't have to build it out yourself. To create a consistent character in VEO3, the most crucial part is to provide a good input image. This is this part. And there are two ways. Number one is to use an official API like for Flux Context. But the output image is pretty good, but not as good as from Higgsfield AI. For this you need to reverse engineer how the Higgsfield AI website works. And I actually did it in this sub-workflow, which I provide inside my community exclusively. So if you're not part of my community, you will be able to follow along, but you will only be able to use Flux Context instead of Higgsfield AI as the input image. Once Higgsfield AI releases their official API, you'll be also able to use it in your automation, even without being part of my community. And without further ado, let's get started. So this is how it works. First, the automation gets the video idea and creates a consistent photo. For example, here in this description, a man sitting on a super yacht. This photo will be also saved in the Google Sheets document. Like you can see, the automation created the image with a consistent character with the description, man sitting on a super yacht. Or something like a confident man sits in a driver's seat of a sleek supercar. Like you can see, the character is always the same, but the scene changes. So what happens next is then this image will be used in VEO3 to generate the video. To generate the video, we also provide the dialogue that the main character has to say. For example, we can finally create videos with consistent character on autopilot.
We can finally create videos with consistent character on autopilot.
So you can see, you can tell exactly what the character has to say. But let's see it in action. Let's take a description, for example, character sitting on the cockpit in a commercial airplane. Let's copy it here, but this time we let the character say, learning AI might be the most valuable skill you can invest in today. And let's start the automation. The first thing the automation does is to get the next idea that is in the status waiting for process and sets it to status processing. Now it creates the image with the consistent character. Once this is done, it will save it to the Google Sheets document under here. The image is now saved here. And now the VEO3 video is created. And this is how the image looks like. Like you can see, it's a consistent character with the described scene. Now we wait until VEO3 finished the creation of the video. Then we download the video, upload it to Google Drive, and save it in our Google Sheets document here. Great, it finished now. Let's see the outcome.
Learning AI might be the most valuable skill you can invest in today.
Like you can see, it worked perfectly. Alright, let's build this whole automation. If you're not part of the community, make sure to open up the Google Docs document to follow along. First, we open up n8n and create a new account by clicking Get Started if we don't have one, or click Sign In if you have already one. Once you're signed in, you should see this screen. Here, click Create Workflow. First, let's give this workflow a name, like VEO3 character. The first step we add to our automation is our trigger. In this case, we just select Trigger manually, so this automation runs once we are clicking a button in n8n. This button you can find here, so when this one is clicked, the whole automation will run. And we click Save. The next step in our automation is to get the idea from our Google Sheets document. For that, we go to our Google Docs document and open the Google Sheets document here. Then we go to File and click Make a Copy. This way we have the same Google Sheets document in your own Google Drive. That way you can give n8n access to it. Then you copy the URL here and go back to n8n. Then you click the plus icon here and type in Google Sheets and select Google Sheets. And then under Actions you select Get Rows. The first thing we have to do is to set up our credentials. For that we click Create New Credential. Then we click Sign In with Google. Once you're signed in, you should see Account Connected. Close it here. Resource and operation you can leave as it is, and under Document you select By URL and paste the URL from our Google Sheets document. Under Sheets you select From List and select here Video Ideas. Here under Filters we set Add Filter and select here Status. Since we only want to process rows that have the status waiting for processing, we type in here waiting for processing. And under Options we click Add Option and select Return Only First Matching Row and activate it. This ensures that we only get one row per run. And click Execute Step. And like you can see, we got row number 10. Row number 10 is the next item with waiting for processing. Now let's rename this node, get video idea, and go back to Canvas. And click Save. The next thing that our automation needs is the character ID. But since we are using Flux context, we need to provide an input image of the character. For that, we go to an image host like imagebb.com, click Start Uploading, and upload an image with this exact resolution. Make sure that you upload an image of a clear character with this resolution, otherwise it won't work. Then you upload this image, open it, and important now, use the right click and click Copy Image Address. This way you receive the image address of this URL. If you don't do that, the rest of the automation won't work. Then go back to our Google Sheets document and click under Characters here. And then for the character, under ID, you provide now the image instead of the ID from Higgsfield AI. In the community, I will explain how to get the ID for the Higgsfield AI. Then we go back to n8n, click here the plus icon and type in Google Sheets. And select Get Rows in Sheet. Since we provided our credentials already, we don't need to do it again. This we can leave as it is, and under Document, we select By URL and copy the URL of our Google Sheets document here. And under Sheet, we select Characters. Under Filters, click Add Filter and select Character. And for the value, we drag and drop the character that we got from our Ideas node here. And click Execute Step. This way our automation has now access also to the input image for Flux. Let's rename this node get character ID and go back to Canvas. The next thing we want to do is to update the status of our Google Sheets document, so in case we run this automation before it's finished executing, we don't rerun the same row. For that, we click the plus icon again and type in Google Sheets, but this time we select Update Row and Sheet. Under Document, we select by URL, provide the URL from our Google Sheets document, and select here Video Ideas, and under Column to Match, we select row number. Under row number, click here Expression, delete what is here inside, and drag and drop the row number from the Get Video Idea node here. We can remove description, character, dialogue, image, and video, since we only want to adjust the status. To processing. When I click now Execute Step, the status here will change to processing. Execute step. It was successful. Let's check. And you can see now the status is processing. So in case this automation will run again, the next row is waiting for processing is this one. So this row won't run twice. Let's rename it real quick to update status and go back to Canvas. Next, we want to create a photo with a consistent character. For this, we need this sub-workflow. Open the Google Docs document and download this sub-workflow for photo. Then go to your personal workflow space and click Create Workflow. This time you select Import from File and select the sub-workflow. Here we need to set up the credentials for the ChatGPT node. For that, we click here Create New Credentials and provide the API key. For that, go to platform.openai.com. If you don't have an account yet, click Sign Up, otherwise log in. Once you're logged in, you click the Settings icon here and get the API keys under API keys. You select here Create New Secret, give it a name like n8n, select the project and create a secret key. Copy this secret key and paste it under API key and click Save. If everything worked fine, you should see connection tested successfully. By the way, make sure that you add some credits to your OpenAI account by clicking here Billing and add like 5 to 10 credits so you can really use this API. Otherwise, it won't work. Then close it here and go back to Canvas. Now you need to set up the credentials for these two nodes. It's pretty simple. For that, you go to kai.ai and create an account here. Then go to Dashboard and click API key. And here you can get your API key by clicking this icon. Then go back to n8n, double click on this node, scroll down here, remove the placeholder and paste in your actual API key. Go back to Canvas, go to the next node and do the same for the API key placeholder. Go back to Canvas and click Save. Let's give this workflow a name. Sub and then flux image. And this is actually how the sub workflow works. You provide a description, dialog, and image URL, and it will give you as an output the image. Since I provided you this template, you have already pinned data here that you can use to directly test if your credentials work. By the way, also make sure that you add some credentials to Kai AI by clicking Billing and add some credits. Otherwise, the whole thing won't work. Once you've done that, you can click Execute Workflow. Just wait until here the whole workflow finished to run. Once it's finished, you can click the Switch node and see the last item here. Under Finished and under Result Image, you'll see the outcome. And you see the character is consistent. Then go back to the dashboard and open up our VEO3 character workflow. Since we closed this workflow and we opened it again without pinning any data, we need to re-execute the whole workflow. For that, we go back to our Google Sheets document and change the status back to waiting for processing. Then going back to our n8n and click Execute Workflow. Then we click the plus icon here and type in sub and select execute sub workflow. Here in the drop-down menu, we select sub flux image. And now we need to provide description, dialog, and image URL we can get from the previous nodes here. So the description we can find here, the dialog we can also find here, and the image URL we can find under get character here under ID. And now we can click execute step. This will now take some time. Perfect. Once it's finished, we see now under result image URL what we got here. Now we want to save this image to our Google Sheets document. For that, we click again the plus icon and type in Google Sheets and select update row and sheet. Then copy again the URL from our Google Sheets document. Select here by URL, type in the URL here and select here video ideas. Column to match, we select row number. Scroll down here and I get video idea. We select the row number here and drag and drop it here. Then we scroll down here and remove description, character, dialog, status, and video. And then we drag and drop the image URL we received from our sub workflow here and click execute step. If this was successful, we should see now the image saved in our Google Sheets document here. And it worked. Let's give this node a name like save image and go back to Canvas and click save. Amazing, we are finished with this part of the automation and we can now create images with consistent character. What enables us now to create videos with consistent character since we're using now VEO3 image to video. Next thing is we need now to provide the image and the dialog to our VEO3 sub workflow. For that we go to our Google Docs document and download the sub workflow for VEO3. Open in a new tab the dashboard of n8n and click create workflow. Click then here import from file and import the VEO3 sub workflow here. Give it a name, sub VEO3. Here you also need to provide the credentials for OpenAI, but we did it already, so we don't have to do it again. But we need again to provide the API key here in this node. For that we go to Kai AI and click API key and just copy it by clicking this little icon. Go back here and replace our placeholder with our actual API key and go back to Canvas. Now we do the same this for the second node and click go back to Canvas and click save here. Also in this provided workflow, I pinned some data so you can directly test the sub workflow with this example data. Just click execute workflow. This process will take a while. Great, it's finished now. When you double click now on the switch node, we see that our last entry here under results is the video.
We can finally create videos with...
Perfect, it worked. Now let's go to our main workflow and click here the plus icon and type in sub and again select execute sub workflow. This time you select in the drop down menu sub VEO3 and now we need to provide again these three things. First the description we get from our get video idea and also the dialog we get from there. Important is we're not using this image from here. We are using the image we received from our other sub workflow under result image URL. You click execute step. This will now take a while. Great, it worked. Now we can see under results URL here.
Learning AI might be the most valuable skill you can invest in today.
And like you can see, the character is really consistent. But like I said, with Hixiled AI, you get much better results. So make sure to join the community. And now we click pin data. So when we have to execute this workflow for testing again, we don't have to execute this step again because this step costs money and we want to avoid this while testing. And click go back to Canvas. The next step is pretty easy. We want now to download the video so n8n has access to it so we can upload it to Google Drive. For that, we click the plus icon here and type in HTTP and select HTTP request. Here we drag and drop the URL we received from our previous node here and click execute step. Then you will see here the data when you click view data.
Learning AI might be the most
Great. Let's rename it, download video, and click go back to Canvas and save. Now we need to upload it to Google Drive. For that, we click the plus icon and type in Google Drive and select it here and select upload file. Here we need to set up our credentials so that we click create new credentials. We need first to provide client ID and client secret. I explain in a different video that is linked in the description box below how you can obtain these two things. And click save. Once you typed in the client ID and client secret, this new button, sign in with Google, appears. Then you click on it and simply select your Google Drive account. Once everything worked, you should see account connected. Next, we need to provide the input data field name. It's already here, data, and you see it's also here called data. The file name we can leave empty. Parent drive we can also leave, and for parent folder we select by URL. Then you select any folder you like and copy the URL there and paste it here. Then click execute step. When everything worked fine, you should see here a check mark, and when you go to your Google Drive, you should also see the video here. Then you click go back to Canvas. And the last step we have to do is to save this URL in our Google Sheets document. Since this node does almost the same, we can simply copy and paste it here and connect it to our Google Drive node. Then we double click on it and rename it to save video. Then we scroll down here, we can leave row number as it is, image we remove, and we add video and drag and drop the web view link here. And we also want to update the status to finished. So we select here status and type in here finished. Since we pinned the data, n8n has like a little problem that you can't execute, but it will work when you let the whole workflow run. Then you click go back to Canvas and click save. Now just unpin the data here and your whole workflow is finished. I hope you enjoyed this one and see you in the next one. And make sure to check out other videos on my channel like the auto publishing on all social media platforms or how to do clipping automation for long form videos.